Out this orientation for a minute. Okay, so y'all behave in the comments. I have strict regulations on in my comments. Thank you all for being here today. We're doing a collective reading for any baddie or person who is going through something right now and wants to focus on themselves instead of another tarot reading about will they come back. So that's what we're going to do today. It's going to be all about you. Also, we do have a new moon in Libra on October 21st. If that interests you, you can go to YouTube and search for new moon in Libra, Vedic astrology. All right, so let's see what your cards have to say for anybody who is not interested in what that other person is doing, not interested in anything to do with past energy. If a relationship comes out, I will talk about it. But we're really just focusing on you, on growth, and potentially your relationship with Source, Divine. When I talk about Source or Divine energy, it really is just about stepping into alignment with your highest self. So it's just about the health of you, your health. That's really it, plain and simple. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. Let's see for today. Ooh, we have one card coming out. Now listen, the Death card is coming out a lot because we're about to enter Scorpio season. And the Death card is Scorpio energy. Some of you guys could have Scorpio in your chart. Okay, given the fact that we not only have this new moon coming up, but we're also stepping into this beautiful Scorpio energy here, we're pulling back the curtain. This is very Wizard of Oz. Who's behind the curtain, right? Because there's a red curtain here. Some of you guys could be performers, or maybe you like theater. This is not necessarily about drama. This is about you stepping into your main character role of your life. Pulling back the curtain, who's controlling it, right? Who's pulling on your energy? Are you pulling on your energy, yourself, or is somebody else? Okay, so this is a major transition, but it's also all the signs, everybody going into Scorpio season. So I'm going to see why this is here for some of you guys. Yes, the Death card can be loss. It can be an ending. It's usually representative of time in the tarot, because you'll see in the Rider-Waite, death is represented by a skeleton, right? And they go through this town and everybody is, it just shows the slow progression of time. So some things just fade away in our lives that aren't meant to be there, but Scorpio is the agent of change, and that's what we're stepping into collectively. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Some of you guys could be changing the people that you surround yourself with and or the way that you make your money. The Ten of Pentacles here, look at that. Some of you guys could have dogs, or you could just have a big community, or maybe you're trying to expand your community. And like I said before, there's major transformation and change in the way that we do community, the people that we surround ourselves with here, and potentially the way that we make our money. And the Ten of Pentacles can be a dynasty of wealth. Literally, with these two cards together, this is a specific message for one person who could have gotten an inheritance from somebody who's passed away. If that's you, my condolences. Because we're stepping into Scorpio season, and, Scorpio is the agent of change, but it is also All Hallows Eve, right? Halloween. That is when our ancestors are most attainable to us. Our ancestors are always there if we're able to talk to them. Any of you who had somebody who passed away recently, or maybe a long time ago, Halloween, All Hallows Eve is a great time to get downloads from the other side, right? And this is also, because we're in the year number 9, we're talking about ending karmic trauma and generational trauma, right? So And a lot of you guys could be generational curse breakers here. And I know that may sound like some spiritual mumbo jumbo, but it's not. It's about your DNA, it's about your genetics, and it's about what you were born into, right? So, not everybody was born into wealth or has an uncle who passed away that gave them money, but we all do have ancestral lineage, whether that be a lot of trauma or whether that be there are roadblocks that we had to overcome individually, with our natal charts there. So maybe, you could look at your natal chart and see what is in my chart and how does that relate to what my ancestors have passed down to me, and are they giving me clues how I can overcome those ancestral hurdles and build this dynasty of wealth, or step into my highest self and make all of my ancestors proud. Whether you know your ancestors or not, they're there. Your grandfather's grandfather, maybe you could, even look up your lineage online, my ancestry or whatever, and see, who were my ancestors? What did they do? Who were they? What are their past lives? This is also like past life regression kind of going on here. So some of you guys could be into past lives, getting messages through from our ancestors, which we always are. Okay, so there's a change in your community, there's a change in your income, or this is what we're wanting here on a generational scale. Oh, look at that, 1010. Some of you guys, if you see 1010 on the clock, that's a synchronicity just for you. But it's no surprise that this is coming out because we're nearing the end of the year, and 2026 is year number 10 in numerology. So tens, this is very much so about like, I want to have a happy family. We all want this. We all want to like make our lineage proud, and like, I want to make that money to take care of my family, and I just want everybody to be good. They got me, I got you. So this is that energy, and this could be your immediate family here that we're talking about, your extended family, your friend family. And this is amazing. This is actually really cozy and really beautiful here. But this is what we're entering into, and we're already kind of getting ready for year number 10, because it's not only is it the end, this is number 9, and we're finishing karmic contracts and generational trauma. But when we enter 2026, which is right around the corner, that's not only 10, it's completely done. I'm done learning those lessons, but it's also the beginning of something new and great. So yes, I love that. And let's see what else is going on. So yeah, finding our tribes, breaking generational curses, building generational wealth. Oh my gosh, listen. We just got the 10 of Swords. There could not be any more 10s on this table. Well, there could be. There's another 10. But wow. So I love this. This is so amazing because this is just really just like sums up everything that I've been saying here. The 10 of Swords is like betrayal, and this is ancestral betrayal. This is ancestral, my parents came over on the Mayflower and they struggled so hard so that I could have something. And now all of the future generations don't have to experience that struggle. We don't have to eat bean sandwiches. We can eat better. I want to see why this 10 of Swords is here. So this could be the energy that a lot of us are in, but also learning lessons about the type of people that we can trust. And sometimes the 10 of Swords does talk about betrayal and things like that, but it's also like, I don't want to do the same thing, because the 10 of Swords is like the definition of insanity. Thanks for that heart. The 10 of Swords is the definition of insanity. That's like doing the same thing over and over again without any change. I haven't learned that lesson. I'm just going to continue to struggle and hurt. And I'm not going to learn the lesson of my ancestors. I'm going to continue to be in this pain. No, we want to end that. 7 of Swords. Yeah, I don't want to fight anymore. This is like, I know that I need to have my boundaries up where they are, but sometimes I don't want to be in this energy of fighting. I don't want to have to fight for myself. I don't want to have to fend for myself. And I don't want, my lovers, my children, my family to have to be in this energy. Seven of Swords is standing for your convictions. So, and this came out in the reverse. It's also a message here to not give up, like to step into your power, because the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, we can all have that every single day. It doesn't have to be, like I said before, because some of you could have had an inheritance, from family, or you're trying to build an inheritance, but it's not necessarily that. We're not going to all go out and win the lottery tomorrow, right? So in what ways, that's my cat, in what ways can I experience the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups in a way that's realistic to me, right? How can I, like, maybe, for example, because of inflation, I've decided to stay in an apartment for as long, just forever. And I'm going to pass the apartment down to somebody in my family or my house or something like that. So the Seven of Wands in reverse, after, clarifying the Ten of Swords, is don't give up just because life can sometimes get you down, right? Just because there have been people that have betrayed you, or maybe you were dealt a bad hand when it comes to your family here. You can't give up that fight, and in fact, we don't have to see it as a fight. We can see it as a lesson to reframe that with the Seven of Swords here. But to learn the lessons so that you don't have to step into that Seven of Wands energy. So there's a lot of ways that I could break this down, but I really am picking up on I want to put down my battle axe. I'm so ready to give up. I'm so tired. My bones ache, my soul aches, but keep going. And, choose your battles as well, because sometimes securing the bag and protecting your family is more about learning when to pick your battles. So let's be realistic in the things that we want to manifest here, because yes, I would love to change my environment. Yes, I would love to make my grandmother proud so that future generations of, my family, with my cousins and nieces and nephews, it doesn't have to be children, so that they don't have to struggle the way that I did. But what's a realistic way to do that? Because that's like a lot of pressure to put on yourself. And I can just start by realizing the mistakes that I could be making, like my parents and like my family. So let's see if we can get more specifically what's going on in this spread. If we get another 10, I'm going to be so surprised. 10, 10, 10. Definitely, listen, if you see 10, 10, 10 on the clock, that is your synchronicity because of all these 10s here to keep going, all right, and learn when to choose your battles, because sometimes you have to stand for your convictions and other times you just have to let things go because it's not worth the fight. If that makes sense here, right? Okay, now we have the Hierophant. I love this. The Hierophant in this spread, I feel like is saying to not lose faith in whatever you believe in, not to get religious, because whatever it is that you believe in. For example, I really like to watch Neil deGrasse. He doesn't believe in astrology, but he believes in the universe. And that's something that, when he looks into the sky or the atmosphere with his telescope or whatever, he's actually seeing the galaxy and the universe, not the way that we talk about the universe sometimes in spirituality. Hold on to what your beliefs are. Some of you guys could be, maybe your lineage is Native American, but this kind of came out in reverse because I know some people, once again, not to upset anybody or offend anybody's beliefs, but some people have, had issues with their family and their belief systems. For example, my parents, I remember my mother telling me about how my parents both had different religions growing up. And that was something that they argued about. And the thing is that we can't, even though our ancestors, they want us to believe what they believe, we have to find our own beliefs. And we can't allow ourselves to be, convinced to believe in something that isn't authentic to ourselves. So stepping outside of that, what are my own belief systems? What am I going to use to get myself through this struggle and through this fight? Hierophant in reverse, maybe my beliefs are not conventional, but that's fine because I know that I'm not alone, and that source, the galaxy's huge. There's billions of people in the world. And he used that belief to not restrict yourself with your beliefs, right? If that makes any sense to you guys, because I know what it's like if you, let's say, for example, grew up in a Jewish family and your parents want you to get married in a Jewish church or a Catholic church, or, maybe your parents were hippies and they didn't believe in any of that. You have to find your own beliefs, and you can't let your family persuade you, and, because it can be very restrictive. Find your own beliefs, but it's always good to be open-minded and not too strict in your beliefs, if that makes sense. All right, here we go. This is not another 10. In fact, the Hierophant is number 5, which is struggle in tarot. But we do have the World card, which is the last card of the deck. Once again, the 10, we're approaching Scorpio season. The World is the end of the year energy, because this is the last card in the tarot. I believe number 22. Starting a new chapter. 100%. And hopefully, as we enter 2026, where, if it's a relationship thing, of course, we're not here to necessarily focus on the ex, as the title says, or past relationships. So we do have to learn from that, right? We have to break those karmic contracts, and we have to learn to let go, forgive and forget anyone who might have betrayed us, as the Ten of Swords suggests here. It's very much closing out karmic chapters and starting new ones. And the World can also be travel. For some of you out there traveling, maybe it's like, I have an Irish lineage and I would love to go to Ireland. But also potentially I want a commitment, and how am I going to approach commitment? Because I want to create a family. If this is something that you're looking for in 2026, if that's what you're looking to create, I want the nuclear family. I want a house. I want, to get married and children. This is just an example of what I'm seeing here in the spread, because the Hierophant, it was in reverse, and that to me would suggest non-committal. And maybe we're ending that chapter where we're like doing the non-committal things. Maybe now we're entering this new phase in our life where we're only committing to things that commit back to us. So the World, completing karmic cycles, completing projects, entering new karmic contracts in work, in life, in family, and completion, but also renewal of hope, and potentially travel for some of you guys. Maybe there's even a new belief system that you're acquiring for some of you. End of year stuff. Okay, so what can we look forward to collectively for 2026? Ooh. All right, so what we have here, Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands, I know, gets a bad rep. Okay, the Knight of Wands gets this reputation of being F-boy, F-girl energy, here today, gone tomorrow. But the Knight of Wands is also very carefree and very much like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do things that inspire me to take action. It's fire energy. So maybe in 2026, what we're looking forward to is more joy. We're looking forward to a spark, because this is very heavy energy here with the Death and the Ten of Swords. It's like, I'm breaking karmic contracts. I've got divorced and I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to have fun, or whatever the case may be for you guys individually and specifically, as we're all going through different things, through different timelines. But this is fresh energy. It's just maybe like the heaviness of 2025, we want to leave that behind and we want to find happiness and maybe watch the news a little less, right? Potentially do more traveling. Ooh, and we have the Queen of Wands. We're getting a lot of fire energy, which would make sense because fire energy for the new year would be like the Fool energy. That's the spring and summertime, which is, you know, we're not there. We're going to be entering fall. But what I'm trying to say is like with this fire energy, it's passion, but it's also confidence. The Queen of Wands, some of you guys maybe are planning a trip to Hawaii here. We have the volcano in the background. If that's not what it is, it's stepping into your power, having more confidence here, having more confidence to build an empire, but also walk away from things and, you know, hold your head up. Like I went through this difficult thing, you know, maybe somebody passed away, or maybe I got divorced, or maybe you know, I lost my job, or I had to move, whatever you're going through specifically. Maybe this project, I finally completed it, but I'm exhausted. But now I need to build my confidence again. So in 2026, you know, a lot of us with the closing of certain chapters or just the closing of the year are looking for this fresh energy of vitality and confidence to have an intention to create what you want. Whatever that is for you. Like I said, some of you guys, maybe you want a more traditional type of relationship. What can you do to be more intentional with that? Maybe your approach can be just not only being more confident, but also being a little bit more casual. It sounds the opposite of what I would want to do. I want to intentionally date, but I want to do it in a way that's more casual so that I don't attach to the people who aren't going to stick around. That's just an example. And then we have the Page of Swords. Get curious about life again. I love that. The Page of Swords isn't just a stalker. You know, the Page of Swords is a student. The Page of Swords is learning. And the Page of Swords is getting skilled at something and becoming confident. So I feel like that could be, some of you guys could be going back to school, or you could be learning something new, or trying a different approach in your dating life. Like I am going to be more curious, but casual, so I can get to know someone fully before I commit. And, ooh, I love that. Nine of Wands. I feel like this is going to be, because we are in the year number 9, this could be something that we're trying to change. The Nine of Wands, and especially in this deck, the Nine of Wands, like you see this girl here, and it's almost like when I see this card, I get this story of like the wicked stepmother, because you see there's like these fire sticks with fire on them, and it's almost like she's been banned from going inside the house here. So what I'm picking up on that, whenever I see the Nine of Wands, it's always the wounded warrior. But it's also trust issues. And it's also, I've been through a lot, and I don't know if I can do another year like this. Oh, you're 2 Leos? Yay. Yes, this is a lot of fire energy here. So you're building a legacy, but doing it in a way with an open heart. Doing it in a way where I'm curious, I'm carefree, and I'm confident. And I want to drop, you know, the defensiveness, or like because sometimes the Nine of Wands is like, I'm just too tired to do this, but also I'm so used to toxic relationships or toxic dynamics, or, you know, being triggered so easily. I don't want to do that anymore. Instead, I want to have this different approach where it's like my boundaries will not be crossed, but I can do it in a way that isn't triggering to me, or my family members or my partner or whatever, right? There's one more hurdle. There's one more obstacle that we need. That's the Nine of Wands, because it's the 9, and to get to the 10, if you guys know anything about the Tree of Life and the 22 paths, you can look that up. So we started out with a major arcana, the Death card, and now we have a whole lot of minor arcana. And the minor arcana simply means the daily things that we experience, because I feel like we have this major life lesson that we're going to be experiencing potentially in Scorpio season and throughout this year, but that it will help you with the daily things that come up, because from a day to day we're going to be experiencing different things, and we need these major life lessons to help get you through the day to day little things that come up, because the little things do add up, right? The little things add up. And how do we get from the 9 of Wands to the 10 of Wands? Okay, you guys, I know this is probably not your typical tarot reading, so let's see what else we have, and we'll get some oracle cards. Oh, we have a Chariot. I love this because the Chariot, as I was saying before, this is momentum, but this is also card number 7. It breaks down to, it's card number 7 in numerology, which is the card of the mystic. And it's about momentum. It's about, overcoming obstacles here. And this is another major arcana. So moving forward with what we want, it's a major life lesson, but it's also using your mystical, intuitive abilities to overcome obstacles in a way, that's smooth and that's easy. I do kind of see like some of you guys could be traveling more as well. I see that a lot in this read. So there could be more traveling. But the Chariot, I love that. Overcoming obstacles, moving forward with inspired action, and in an intuitive way. Okay. Any last messages before we move on to the oracle cards? Yes. Once again, with this new moon that we're going to be experiencing in Libra on the 21st, it's this energy of a light in the darkness in Vedic astrology. With the 6 of Swords here, that's peace. And that's what I said. I see a whole lot of like travel for a lot of the signs in 2026, potentially near water as well, long distance, overseas. But if not, it's about metaphorically moving away from the things that, were chaotic and trying to have more peace. Just like having a light in darkness. Things are dark right now, but time is cyclical, and this too shall pass. So 6 of Swords moving into a place of peace. And then we have the Empress in reverse. And I said that before with the Queen of Wands, because the Empress in reverse is like, for some of you guys could have fertility problems. If that's not what it is, it's about having more confidence, stepping into your Empress energy, especially with the Queen of Wands there. But also it's about having more genuine connections. Because of the Empress in reverse, I see as Taurus energy. Some of you guys could be talking to a Taurus, but the Empress in reverse is like somebody who doesn't connect to the things that are pleasurable in life. Like, I can't really say this on YouTube, but this is like, I don't want any more connections where we're just casually connecting. I'm not playing like that. I'm not playing the field, okay? I'm not just, this is about my spirituality. I want my connections to be elevated to an elevated standard, right? Like I want a high value man. I want a high value woman. I don't want to, mess with that anymore, but it's your Empress energy. It's your confidence, because the Empress does not accept less than she deserves. So this is a self-worth, this is about self-worth, but it's also about feeling good. Doing the things that make you feel good. Some of you guys could be religious, you could pray, It's doing things that make you feel good, and it doesn't feel good to argue. It doesn't feel good to struggle. It doesn't feel good to engage with people who don't connect with me on a deeper level. So birthing, but this is also, in numerology, the Empress is number 6, which is beauty, which is love, which is creating more love, bringing more love and beauty, and, just some of you guys could also be working towards pregnancy, and I was saying that before, like happy, married with children, but that's just bringing more love into reality, which is beautiful. Okay, let's get one more card, and then we'll get an oracle card. Okay. Ooh, Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is, oh, actually we have Two of Cups. Ooh. Connecting with like-minded people. So yes, a lot of you guys could be finding your tribe this year if you haven't already found your tribe. Because I was saying that in the very beginning, like I'm changing the community of people that I'm surrounding myself with. I'm trying to build a legacy or a dynasty, and I need to have people who have my back. Two of Cups, having more harmony in your relationships. This is all relationships, okay? But I mean, absolutely could be love. But you want to be friends with your partner if that's what this is about for you, whoever, you know, the viewers tuning in. I want to be friends with my partner. It's really important to maintain that and to have a tribe or friends outside of my initial romantic relationship. So I love that. It's also about unity and community and building bridges for unity and community and things like that. Potentially with your extended family, right? Like, I haven't seen my cousin in a long time. I need to connect with my cousin because the cousin is my homie, or, you know, these friends that I met, I need to meet other friends. I need to network. Things like that. Okay, let's get some oracle cards. We're using the Oracle of the Seven Energies, and the tarot is the Tarot of the Divine, those of you tarot enthusiasts. So we're expecting to see a lot of Scorpio energy and readings, but also the world as we're completing out 2025 and stepping into new paradigms for 2026. It's October, and all right, soon we'll be in 2026. Oh, all right, what do we have here? We have quieting the mind, and I was seeing that very much so with the Six of Swords and with the Ten of Swords. You know, it's not necessarily I'm quieting the mind, but I just want to be more zen. I want to be more peaceful. I don't want to fight with people anymore unless I have to. So quieting the mind. The storyteller. I'm creating a new story for myself. I saw that when I was, you know, talking about ancestral trauma and overcoming the story that has been passed down. So storyteller, quieting the mind. Maybe some of you guys are like meditating and journaling, things like that for your health. What else do we have for the collective? Ooh, let it go. And I saw that a lot. We have to pick our battles in life. So let it go. It doesn't necessarily mean, you know, I've let go of my ex or I've let go of my friends. It just means we have to pick our battles, right? Tell yourself a different story about what's happening in the moment instead of being triggered. I want to ask myself, is it worth volleying that over the net? That's the saying that I picked up, right? Like when somebody is really trying to get your goat and they're trying to get a reaction out of you because they're upset, do I really want to volley that back? Or do I just want to let it go and have peace and harmony instead? So it's very zen. It's very, you know, I'm not going to be reactive to things that I don't need to. I will have respect and boundaries though. So that's the trick right there. And then we have Earth Magic. So I feel like this is very much about connecting to nature and connecting to your root chakra. Also, potentially there was some earth in this reading, so there could be an earth sign placement. And it's very much about the pentacles, you know, it's about what we can touch. What is tangible? What can I create here with this, what that I've been given, right? Like, it's like the whole story about turning lemons into lemonade, nature versus nurture here, if that makes sense to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna get on out of here because I'm tired. I hope to be doing more sign readings for you guys, but I hope that this message elevated your consciousness in some type of way, shape, or form. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.